तो what happened was acquisition के ऊपर अच्छा story बना, लेकिन retention और churn के ऊपर इतना worse story बन गया कि then you are like, oh. And the biggest problem is that here a bad experience is unforgivable.
Correct.
E-commerce में, quick commerce में, it's fine.
You can live with it. Huh?
Live with it.
You forget.
Fifth order, 10 order में से 2 order तो खराब होने ही वाले हैं. You cannot live with it here. So it's unforgiving. Like I said, people यहाँ पे ना, they don't remember taglines, they remember the product bug.
Yes.
तो अगर product bug आ गया, आपकी tagline कुछ भी हो, right?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter because then the user will come and say, bro, what is it? Like what happened, right? You said this happened. You said आपके ये feature से ये होता है, I lost money.
Hello, and welcome to the HT Brand Leadership Series, where we speak with the best and brightest of the marketing leaders in the country, where they come and they share their industry insights and stats that have helped shape their stories. Joining us today is Lucky Saini. He's a Senior VP and Head of Marketing at FYERS, a Fintech brand operating in one of the most trust-sensitive segments of the market, trading and investments. FYERS has carved a distinct position by focusing on transparency, product-led growth, and education-led marketing. A very contrarian view rather than the hype-driven marketing and hype-driven acquisition that goes on in the industry. Welcome. Thank you to, and lovely to have you here, Lucky. Today we're going to speak a lot, and there are certain questions that we have. But before we get into the space of marketing in a trust-sensitive environment, how is your day been?
Oh, it's going good. Thanks for having me first. Pleasure being here. I think day's been awesome and it's going to get better as we speak.
Yeah.
But super happy and super excited to share a lot of my experience, a lot of my learnings with the audience, and hopefully they'll take a lot away from this today.
What drew you to this world of finance, money, trading? What drew you towards this world?
I think somewhere we all think money all the time.
We should.
Yeah, we should. But I think personally, I had done, if you look at my career, I had done about 7 years of e-commerce, 5 years with Flipkart, and then 2 years with Meesho. So I think for me, it was an itch to kind of find another category. Like we always say in marketing, right? Ki I want to explore a new vertical, a new category, etc., etc. I found finance very interesting. A, because personally I'm very keen into finance. And two, I realized that a lot of impact of what marketing does in building strong brands, in doing great content. In this category, the impact is pretty high.
Okay.
Because people are always clued in.
Yeah.
They're always wanting to learn. They're always wanting to get some more info, right? Versus, let's say, a food delivery or e-commerce where people are, only when sale happens, they're interested, etc. In this case, people are actually seeking info.
Okay.
They're seeking more and more knowledge, right? So I think I realized that is a good playground for a marketer. And I said, yeah, so let's try.
A random question, does impulse play a part in this space?
In some ways, yes. So let's take it like that, right? Some categories within finance, the impulse plays a part. I would not say impulse, but I think short-term versus long-term. And I think that's how most of us would say, I am a long-term investor versus I am a short-term, let's say a trader, or I kind of trade equity here and there. I just feel that people kind of do both. There are people who do either long-term investing and let's say only short-term trading. There are people who do even long-term trading, like they're in it for the long, right? They want to really make a career. They want to kind of do it well. And there are also, people who flip IPOs. People who are investors, they call themselves investors, but actually sell off everything in 2.5 years.
Correct.
So interesting data, right? Average tenure of a mutual fund in India is just 3 years.
That's it?
Yeah. So a lot of people end up kind of rotating, liquidating, moving money out of it, because somewhere we are also trained to be a little more short-termism, right? Ki yaar paise bana lo. And let's rotate money. So this rotate money kind of gets on your head.
Got it.
So IPO invest karo, nikal jao. Make
Correct.
that extra buck. Make that alpha, like we call it, right?
Yes.
So I think that behavior is spilling over probably also in some ways to investing. But we all know, and it's boring as hell, making wealth is extremely long-term and boring.
Nice.
You have to stay the course, right? So compounding is the magic, but it only happens when you give it
Time.
But difficult to kind of, that's why I say, right, emotional trading or emotional investing is the enemy, because you know you should not do this.
And this is the itch that you need to resist.
Yeah, because there's so much impulse in the market. Like, I think impulse is built into us.
Yes.
And I say built, it's kind of fed into us. And I think today it's even more because har jagah baat wahi ho rahi hai.
Yes.
I go to Instagram, I see, oh, somebody said this is happening, this will become the next big sector. Abhi defense ka hi ho gaya hai, usme dal do, yahan se yahan pe you can make this quick buck, right? So I think social/content is also somewhere guilty because it feeds that FOMO. It feeds that impulse into us.
Yes.
And we always feel कि यार, I hope I'm not making enough money.
Yep.
मेरा portfolio या मेरे को नहीं समझ में आ रहा है.
My neighbor is portfolio is better than
that 24-year-old who's just gone out and made those crypto के अंदर 5 crores, etc. I think patience, is probably most difficult virtue of a good investor.
It's the most underrated
virtue, but I just feel that you need to be able to play your cards right. You need to have some view on short-termism.
Okay.
It's good to kind of, there
balance
are opportunity आएंगी, market में आती है. You play it, but you play it in a 20% segment. 80% you should always optimize for long.
Nice. So that's financial advice for me and for our viewers. While we get to that, Lucky, it's so interesting to hear you speak about this.
Yeah.
But unlike other marketers, unlike conventional marketers, even you in your previous roles, you were in that zone, and we've always been in that zone of delivering against a certain price, benefit, promise.
Yeah.
But here, we're speaking of real money.
Yes.
And significant one at that. Hard-kept, hard-saved money of people. Yeah. It just frames marketing in a very, very different context. Yeah. So when you made that move from your earlier e-com, quick-com apps to something like this, how did that shift happen, and what is that shift?
I think very interesting you asked this, because in many ways I had to unlearn the impulses of marketing. In a previous avatar, like I said, working with e-commerce or any other categories, right? You have that idea that you need to fuel demand.
You're going to be a long-term investor here at FYERS?
I am 100% sure.
Sure. Yeah, I had to.
Yeah. And I think that fueling the demand through a lot of this type of marketing, which is, let's say, price-driven, discount-driven, offer-driven, or even, let's say, time-bound marketing, right? This is only available for so long.
Yeah.
Or new collections.
Yeah. Again,
a lot to do with newness, trends, price, discounting, etc., etc. That mindset had to be unlearned. When I did also join, the industry, when I say industry Fintech, I very quickly realized that here you need to be able to do quality over quantity.
Got it.
Here you need to be able to influence decisions in a way that they don't bite you back later.
Sure.
Right? So the over promising, the FOMO creation cannot, like I said, RTBs or reason to believe have to be true in the product.
Got it.
Right? So I think wo unlearning tha, massive unlearning. And now I think it's become a part of the DNA. कि अब ना हर चीज पे whenever something comes to you, check it. Like you check यार, I hope I'm not over promising. I hope I'm not kind of oversimplifying. तो दोनों ही problem है. Oversimplification भी problem है, which a lot of finance folks do.
Yeah.
या फिर over complicate करके over exaggerate करना.
Got it.
I think this kind of made me realize कि यार, we ask hard questions now. We ask hard questions to product. We ask hard questions to legal. In fact, I tell my team, yaar, you are not just marketing. Think of yourself as
consumers.
As consumers first, and also that fact that buck stops with you.
Yeah.
मतलब आपको ये कल को legal को नहीं बोल देना है कि यार, give me a.
But you said okay.
You said okay, or give me something like this, right? I think you're promising consumers something, and when they do come with the money, like I said, money is at stake, and they do not find that promise fulfilled, then there will be a big backlash. So I feel that is where I think the funnel collapses in fintech. right? जो normal funnel marketing होती है, that collapses in a big way because what happens is if you only look at that funnel and say top funnel, build कर लो अच्छे से, promise ये वो. Once that funnel comes in, you expect it to work in a particular way,
correct,
which is what happens here because of the over promising and the bad
suddenly it
experience.
drops off.
Suddenly it just collapses, drops नहीं, वो collapses होता है. तो what happened was acquisition के ऊपर अच्छा story बना, लेकिन retention और churn के ऊपर इतना worse story बन गया कि then you are like, oh. And the biggest problem is that here a bad experience is unforgivable.
Correct.
E-commerce में, quick commerce में, it's fine.
You can live with it.
Live with it.
You forget.
5th order, 10 order में से 2 order तो खराब होने ही वाले हैं. You cannot live with it here. So it's unforgiving. Like I said, people यहाँ पे ना, they don't remember taglines, they remember the product bug.
Yes.
तो अगर product bug आ गया, आपकी tagline कुछ भी हो, right?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter because then the user will come and say, bro, what is it? Like, what happened? Right? You said this happened. You said आपके ये feature से ये होता है, I lost money. You had this tom-tomming and this happened. An interesting example I'll give you. Robinhood, internationally, great, known for trading and investing.
Yeah.
They had an interesting feature in UX, where when you do a certain trade and you probably have success, there's a celebratory
nice
UX. अब अच्छा है ना? अब marketers के हिसाब से लोग very nice, it adds their experience. They realize that trigger is also making people overtrade. Or it's also making people sometimes get into the loss making. When imagine you're making losses and it becomes like a thing for you. It created user backlash.
Understood.
The teams, of course, took charge and then realized that it's not the right thing to do.
Yes.
So in FYERS, today, even our product thinking is like that.
So you take a step back, evaluate, reevaluate.
कि हम यार इसको ना, it's not about gimmicks.
Got it.
Right? So it's about real value. User को फायदा क्या हो रहा है, right? Is he getting more informed? Is he getting, okay, let's look at it like that. In general marketing comes before decision. Like your job is to influence decision.
Fair.
Right? कि ऊपर से आप,
fair,
behavior drive करो.
Yes.
In fintech, you're a part of the decision. So you're actually in the funnel.
And hence, all the more reason why people should be co-owners of that decision in a certain way.
Yes.
But tell me, Lucky, if you do this, and this is unconventional marketing, everything has to be built ground up, with everyone's ears, eyes, all parts of the body to the ground, as close to the consumer as possible. And when you do that, everything will have to be that. And I'm pretty sure FYERS has been doing that. What has kept you busy? What is happening in this whole ecosystem over the last few months, years? What is it that you've been building?
So, we've been around for 10 years. We were a trading first, and we're still a trading first company, right? Built for hardcore serious traders. In fact, our proposition is also born to trade, right? And when I say born to trade,
I saw that marketing campaign. Great film, I must say.
Yeah, thanks. And I think again the insight was that traders, those who actually become serious traders, they have these traits. When I call traits, is like some inbuilt in अंदर ही है वो pattern recognition, risk and reward, right? Being able to being calm under pressure, right? And I think we celebrated those traits.
Nice.
Right? And I think you'll realize कि when you ask a serious trader कि यार आप trading क्यों करते हो, मतलब आपको कब मालूम चला कि आप trading के लिए बने हो? He said, यार, I just had the traits. I knew that I could do this when nobody else would.
I thought that all that it needed was that chashma, that gold chashma.
Yeah, I think we wish we could do that, right? But I think so. FYERS has been always trading first. We're always building for a hardcore, active trader and investor now. What's happening in the last few years is we've kind of now become an integrated platform. Now everything in one app. We also have a web because a lot of traders trade on web.
Yes.
Right? They need large screens, like you said, right? It's money, it's charts, so you need those things. But a lot of convenience is built into the app now. So you would do the analysis on the web, but you would trade on it.
You'd want to trade anytime with the device.
And also a lot of automation. In fact, we are probably the top 2 or 3 tech forward brokers who are constantly innovating for making the experience convenient. At the same time, super insightful. So we want to reduce the cognitive overload of data. right? So
And hence no sparks fly when a successful
yeah,
trade
exactly.
happens.
You do not
Got it.
want that, right? We don't even like emojis in our PNs. So like that's how it is for us, right? But
Yeah.
we've built a very strong tech first automation led. We feel that a lot of in India we're going to see a lot of people come into active trading and investing, but that will only happen if brands actually enable through features, technology. We have a lot of automation now. It's a drag and drop. So you could just drag and drop and you can create your own automation strategy. You can monitor your portfolio real time without worrying about it. Just sip your coffee and you'll have a trigger.
Nice.
If you want to do stop loss at this and you want to exit, that's happened. Like it's happened. You don't have to always
Think
about it, right?
Yeah.
So very user-friendly automation features, a lot of smart orders where you can just ensure that from order to exit, everything is kind of not based on impulse.
Got it.
Not based on emotion. So
It could
we
be
are
data
kind
back,
of using technology to reduce or remove the negative effect of emotions in finance,
Understood.
which is very interesting because emotions actually are not good for finance, right?
Yeah.
So if we can do that, I think we would have won. Not for us, but our users would have won.
But tell me, Lucky, this is such a crowded space.
Yeah.
Where every brand is grappling for that bit of emotion that you probably don't want to evoke. And they are consciously stirring it again and again and again.
Yeah.
It is a competitive world as well.
Yeah.
Right? As much as we like it, as much as good that you'd want to do to the consumer.
Yeah.
These are choices and hard choices. How do you balance both?
Thankfully, I think what worked for us is, I think we are a long-term player. If you read about FYERS, we're a bootstrap, profitable, very few stories.
Very rare breed.
Very rare breed. Our founders are pretty long-term thinkers. I think being bootstrapped kind of helps because it takes the pressure out of short-termism. And I think that environment that we've created, that we build for the long term, we build for what is right. We are not here to get easy, small, early wins.
Got it.
Helps the marketing team too. So we do structural, strategic bits.
Got it.
We want to build right. We want to also, even campaigns are like that. Product is getting built like that, right? So yes, there is so much pressure, like you rightly said, because it's not like if you are doing this, others are also doing it. Everybody else is just doing the same thing, which is build FOMO, price discounting,
play on impulses,
impulse, markets, feed into that idea of FOMO, right? And everybody is just trying to get that done, and coupled with price discounts, it's just becoming like, oh, acquisition is what we care about.
But that allows you to differentiate in a manner that no one else is doing.
Yeah.
But the only challenge that you'll face then is how do you balance growth? See, either or could be a fair strategy to approach the consumers. Yeah. And that's the approach to marketing of a particular brand or a product that brands can take.
Yeah.
You've taken that call to be very differentiated from the rest of the industry and not play into what the market is doing.
Yeah.
Then the only other challenge that's left after that, once you've taken that call, how do you balance and justify growth on this approach versus everyone else? How do you do that?
Yeah, I think two factors to that. One is we take the product first approach.
Okay.
I think in fintech, more so than any other category, product experience or product is the truth. And I think it is the biggest arsenal in marketing. Thankfully, we have a very, very innovative tech and product team.
Nice.
We launch very interesting features almost every quarter. So what we do is we try to front load a lot of product marketing, which helps us drive consideration also and awareness also. But again, it brings the focus back on the consumer benefit. That if you could do this, right?
This is an added value that I'm giving to you, and this is what it will help unlock.
Yeah. So now that is what you just said is so important. That this is how it will help you unlock this.
Yes.
So I think that's what I said. The decision making should be enabled and powered by us. So product marketing helps people take better decisions. They make them better investors. At least in fintech, every ad is education.
Yes.
It's not just an ad.
Yes.
I think that's a big difference, because I think a lot of people still succumb to this idea of let's make an ad, but then let's talk about this in an exaggerated, eyeballs grabbing way, and अब उसमें shock and awe करना है तो कर लेते हैं. But you're forgetting that your ad is your consumer's first education also.
Fair.
In fintech it is.
Yes.
Right. So we do a lot of content-led growth. We do a lot of product-led growth. And to balance the pressure on, of course, everybody needs to grow. We also balance it with a bit of brand marketing. Because organic growth and direct growth, also is good.
Yeah.
So we have a calendar which we at least want to put our promise or our positioning out there. We want to connect emotionally with our users. So I think the brand marketing push, along with a very strong education-led content pull and front-loading product marketing, right, helps kind of balance the growth without, like I said, compromising on the ethics of fintech communication.
Right. There's also something else which is sweeping this industry, and I'm sure you would have experienced this firsthand, is regulation.
Yeah, tell me.
It's a heavily regulated industry.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a significant entry barriers for other players to come into this industry as such. How do you manage that on the inside and on the outside? Inside within your product teams, within your marketing teams and your business teams, and on the outside when you start communicating to consumers.
You're right. I think it's a beast, a regulation, and I think right.
Sorry, did you just say that?
Yeah, it's a beast, and I think rightfully so. Because I just feel that regulatory is on your side too. Because if done well, you get consumers who stay with you.
Yeah.
If done well, if understood well, you will get consumers with the right way. Now, how do you deal with regulation? I know a lot of marketers, for example, do not want to enter this category because they feel limited scope.
I can't do anything.
There's so much creativity to hoegi. Like, what's the point, right? But I feel like everything, constraints just help you become more creative.
Yeah.
What we do is that we have a separate in-house team which only does compliance and regulation. So all of our marketing team is absolutely trained on every point of that regulation and what does it mean and what implication it will have on marketing, right? It's a quarterly training.
Nice.
Second is, we don't understand in letter, we have to understand in spirit.
Got it.
See, regulation is regulation. Yeah, you can't say this, like you can't say India's best.
But why?
India's best नहीं बोलना है. अरे हाँ, मतलब इसको आप constraint मान लो or don't do it or say, but why are they saying India's best नहीं बोल रहा है? Which means that they do not want you to make a superiority claim without justifying it.
Got it.
Or without proving with data, without backing it up with something tangible, right? Now, also think, do users suddenly care India's best? Because we also know that many of these adjectives are hugely, completely
used,
like today, if I were to use the word, I think it's completely bastardized.
Yeah.
Because just look at it, it's very easy to write it.
Best, new, fresh,
out
now.
there, India's best, India's only. But if you really look at, consumers don't really care.
Yeah.
Right? As a team, you say, what do I want to communicate? I want to see consumer benefit kya hai? What do they really care about? And within the regulatory ambit, right, can I communicate my benefit without trying to go without succumbing to the marketing impulse or itch of wanting to go the adjectives route, right? So I think know why regulation exists, to know what is the in spirit, why do they exist. Third is also know, there is always going to be a right way around it.
Got it.
Not around it.
Around it, but the right way around it. Got it.
Right. And then constantly test comms, which you can test out and say, I did this, I sent it for approvals, this got rejected. So you are constantly talking to the regulator or the compliance teams. They tell you, this is not the right pitch. This is the right pitch. So I think you need to try a lot to be able to know, okay, this is my vocabulary. What I call as the fintech marketing vocabulary is very different from the usual vocabulary. And I think if the faster you know that, the better it is for you.
Fintech marketing vocabulary. Fabulous. I'm going to hold on to this for a while. Tell me, what will your KPI dashboard look like? What are the KPIs that you track then?
Yeah, so key differences is where I would like to bring, right, between, let's say, if you're in fintech versus if you're not in fintech, a marketing person outside of fintech. Most marketing dashboards will have, of course, acquisition metrics, they will have brand metrics,
Yes.
and they will have retention metrics. So generally, this is how it is, right? We over-index on direct organic and the brand strength,
Okay.
because I think in this category that is paramount.
So direct organic.
Yeah, and then we actually over-index on health of the customer.
Okay. How do you measure that?
Health of the customer is time to, time on the platform.
Got it.
Retention months, number of months of retention on the platform. Ability to, how many actions on the platform the customer is taking. Depth of product usage.
Understood.
So depth of product usage is very interesting, because in fintech there are so many features. If you have done your job well, a lot of those features will be deeply adopted.
Yes.
And not just adopted, pre and post of this adoption, you will see an engagement difference of the customer.
Fair.
So I think the health of the user is market volatility के बीच में, downtime और uptime के बीच में, is the customer actively engaging? Is the customer coming for insights?
Got it.
Not just trade. Is the customer coming for analysis, for discovery of new opportunities? Correct? That means you're powering the customer even when they're not actually transacting. Transacting to करेंगे जब when the strategy.
When the time comes.
But your role is not to just wait. Like a lot of platforms I know say, oh, we are DIY. We have built a platform, अब आपको जो करना है करो. But actually speaking, you're supposed to empower customers even when they're not
to take better decisions.
So I would say a lot of brand strength metrics. Is the organic and direct flow improving? Is the revenue from organic and retention on organic much better? It should be at least 2x, 3x.
Fair.
Right? And then we look at how the health of the customer is. In between the acquisition metrics, for example, is predominantly conversion numbers.
Got it.
We do not even look at leads, for example. We do not look at like leads to signups.
Got
What we care about is number of people who actually came in. How many of those people actually did some action on the product in the first 7 days?
So these are genuine, hard-coded KPIs.
Yeah.
That everyone in the marketing team is very conversant.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the marketing nomenclature. That
maybe the fintech dashboard will be a slightly different dashboard compared to the usual marketing dashboard. And so the fintech vocabulary is a little different.
Sure. Tell me, what should matter the most for the rest of the marketers? So when you traverse that whole ecosystem, from the usual dashboards, the usual vocabularies, the usual KPIs that we used to measure then, that you used to measure then, versus what you're measuring now, you become wiser with an exposure to a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
Where does it stand now? What is that one piece of advice that you'll want to give future marketers, current marketers, into this is what your dashboard should look like?
Yeah, I think now I will keep it slightly broader, because if you're a marketer today, a dashboard that one should really kind of develop and kind of be at it is, I think organic will always need to be the focus, because any sustainable marketing effort should build long-term organic play, right? So unless you are constantly demonstrating a better mix, which is organic growing versus paid, right? Then you are not really kind of tracking right.
Yeah.
So I would say and within organic, within that, there could be a bunch of metrics, but I would say share of direct and share of organic, their implication on business, which is revenue and number of orders, number of transactions. Second part, I would focus a lot more, and you would agree, today it's very, very expensive to acquire customers. Because the pressure on media, on auction, on paid is very high.
It's very high.
Just look at the CPMs today, right? Just look at the and it's because the same supply. Customer ke upar hi sab, think of Zepto spending or
demand
supply, right? So I think therefore marketing should very closely work with product metrics too. Because I think this is one miss that marketers don't do. I think you need to co-create a product into marketing dashboard. Because once the person has entered your ecosystem, then is the product and marketing funnel strong? Is that retention, product usage matrix active on the ecosystem? Those metrics should be commonly tracked, and both teams should ask hard questions. I think if you are able to do this well, which is strong brand strength metrics, followed by an awesome product into marketing retention, I think middle part will have much less pressure.
Nice. And that's fabulous. Thank you, Lucky, for your thoughts, your perspectives, and for teaching our fellow viewers and marketers a trick or two in responsible marketing. These are the insights that should directly impact good marketing outcomes that marketers today can start deploying in everything that they can do and should be doing in the future. So thank you for sharing all of that. Thank you to you, our viewers, for tuning in. We'll be back soon with another insightful conversation featuring India's best, India's brightest marketing leaders. Thank you.